I'd like to call to order the October 15th meeting of the Public Works Advisory Committee. Can we get a roll call, Vicki?
Chad Dagley. Dave Nolan.
Mark him present if he shows.
George Robin.
Present.
Greg Lammert.
Present.
Scott Peterson.
Present.
James Myers.
Present.
Wendy Propkop.
Present.
Kevin Watlett.
Present.
Mary Lalo.
Present.
Pam Hobbs. William Fath.
Present.
Councilman Wexler.
Present.
All right, can we get the Pledge of Allegiance? Bill, will you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everybody, we got an agenda in front of us for this evening. Anybody have anything they want to move around or change? Can I get a motion for approval? Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, move on to approval of the minutes from the September 19th meeting of this committee. I don't see anything that needs to be modified in them. Can I get a motion?
Move to approve.
Can I get a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, citizen comments. Do we have any citizens tonight to comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to old business. We have no old business. We'll go to new business, and we're going to start off with the environmental services proposed budget. And as Jim's making his way up, I would just like to thank city staff, Jim, Steve. The tour of St. Peter's Recycling Facility was phenomenal. One of the coolest things I've seen in a while for those of us that went on it.
Yeah,
Makes your mind a whole lot more comfortable seeing that operation of what happens to actual recycles. Anyway, let's hear the budget.
well, you know what? I'm going to stick with the recycle for a second if I can. Just because I'm here, I'll go ahead and go over some things that we've caught up. Just like you mentioned, that tour was really nice. It does, because we get a lot of calls, not just in O'Fallon, but people say, I know you're not recycling that, you're just taking it to the landfill. And I mean, that's just not the case for us. But yeah, you can see that stuff getting sorted, and you know that it's going to the right place and everything else. So I think they're doing a good job. They're happy to have our product there with them because it's a really clean product, something that they brag about a lot, that, you know, the product that we're pulling out of O'Fallon is really, really good. So with that said, we are still taking stuff up there. And since the single stream started out, we were, prior to single stream, just recently prior, because we had it before, but we were doing about 13% of the city residents were participating in recycling once we had the drop-off sites. We didn't really count who was dropping off there. There was no way to track that. But we were at about 13%, so that wasn't very high. But now we've kind of leveled off. We're hoping to push it again, push another mailing out and do some different things to try to promote it. But we are up to about 45% participation now, so an extremely high increase in participation. So I thank the residents for getting involved. They're doing a good job. We were a little worried about getting contaminated product, and still have some worry with it, and we still have some, but we're catching it. Drivers are checking the cans, and it's really working out really well. So our tonnages are up. Our disposal on trash is starting to go down a little, which we expected. So, you know, that stuff's getting in there. So things are going extremely well with that program. So I don't know if you have any questions about that before I get into my budget.
No, I mean, Wendy, I'll turn to you since the mayor called you out a few weeks ago. But I mean, I phenomenal. I mean, what I saw is absolutely phenomenal. And I mean, I'm sure it could be better, but I mean, for where we were to where we are now, absolutely amazing. And I mean, if anybody ever gets the chance, sounds like they're in the process of maybe making some videos to put out to show their process over there. Unbelievable how everything is sorted, packaged, compacted, banded on a truck, gone to an appropriate place. And it's the best part is, and you hit on it, it's clean. It amazed me to look at the different things that were there and how it truly is clean. I mean, everybody seems to be doing their job of rinsing stuff and all of that jazz. So pretty neat process. Wendy?
I just want to comment too, when we went on that tour, that young man that did it was just so passionate about all of that, making sure that it was all going to work, that all worked. I know that he spent a lot of time along with his mechanic trying to get that all to work, and I just couldn't believe how he's just really into that, and I think that's wonderful, you know. So Jim, I noticed the figures we get is back, it's usually like a month and a half, you know, or, you know, like we get August figures. You wouldn't happen to have the September figures.
I do have them. What figure are you looking for? So we did, the hard part with figures is if you're not looking at all the numbers, like I can tell you that the tonnage was 317 tons we brought in September. But then you might look at August and say, well, wait a minute, we brought 342 tons in that month, so we're dropping. But we're not. There's less days in this month. So there's a lot of things that go into that. So percentage-wise and per ton per home it's just level, which is really good at 45% participation that we're getting that level. But we do need to see if we can get more people into the program. But it's running well. Okay.
James, you got anything from the tour?
That last figure you mentioned, 45%, does that count multifamily or just single family?
It's just single family. We don't do any, well, I say that. We have a few duplexes and things, but we don't do anything else.
Right, so it's 45% of single family homes?
Correct.
No, I was going to say the tour is very impressive, the level of automation, how clean, and there was no odor or anything. It was absolutely terrific, far more impressive than I expected.
Have you been over to Marshall's place? Because that thing really smells bad.
We have, yes. We'll probably have the tour at this year or
Yeah,
next year.
good luck.
Yeah, nobody looks forward to it. Mary, you got anything from the tour you want to bring up?
Well, I do. Kevin, when we were going through that tour, he saw some of my trash.
He did.
He told me he saw my trash. I said, it could be.
With some magazine going by, and I'm like,
Oh.
Mary. Pam, you got anything from it you want to bring up?
It was amazing, and all I could think of as I was standing there is, you know, looking at kind of a schematic from the side of all of the conveyors going up and down and in and out at all different angles, and I mean, they had a lot of work going on in a little space, and it was pretty amazing. The employees, you know, how well they do their jobs with pulling stuff when it needs to be pulled, and yeah, it was.
I mean, the best part of it is Pam got an excuse to wear her own hard hat.
Yeah.
So,
She was bragging about all those stickers on it, too. We didn't have any.
and you know, kudos to St. Peter's and what they're doing. I mean, I look forward to probably hearing very shortly how many awards they start to win. I mean, I can't fathom there's many people doing it better.
No, probably not, but remember that award. It should be a part of OFallon, too,
be
because
part
we're
of
the ones
O'Fallon.
bringing that tonnage to them.
Absolutely. All right, any other thing about the tour, the recycling? All right, let's hear some budgets.
All right. Budget-wise, for environmental services, it's going to be pretty status quo. We don't have much going on this year at all, really. We're I think, 4.5% over from last year, and probably the bulk of that number is the single-stream recycling processing fees that had to get added in this year. Other than that, we're not buying anything. We're getting a few items in our capital request. We're going to get, we usually spend $180,000 a year in carts and lids and things like that. And this year, I don't know what we got up here. It's not mine. Marshall brought his up, I guess. But we usually spend $180,000, and this year we cut $100,000 out because of all the carts that we got from the single stream program. We don't really need to spend that money this year. So we cut $100,000 out of that budget for that. Other than that, we're going to get 2 side load trucks. As you're probably aware, every year we buy trucks and replace the older ones. And this year we're set for 2 trucks. So we're going to be doing that. And really, other than that, we do have proposed in the budget for 2 new employees and a truck for our yard waste. We've grown so much on the south side and some of the other areas, but we just can't keep up with it. So we've asked to get 2 employees in a new truck to put that in. And then on top of that, a part-time customer service rep to start handling as many calls as we're getting for different things. So those are things that are just proposed at this point. So we'll see if that gets approved or not. But really, other than that, the only big thing was we had a grant for the recycle program with a company, and we ended up getting back $450,000 so far in grant funds this year, and we will get another, I think it's 45 or 50,000 in 26, and then that will complete our grant funds of just, I think it was $496,000 that we'll get. So that was a good deal for us, and I'm glad that part's over, because that was something to get all those carts out and get them pulled off the street. And that's really, there just really isn't much to our budget.
Okay. Anybody got any questions for Jim?
Oh, I just had a question. You had an item marked fuel system upgrade. What is that?
I don't know. I was told to put that in. I think they're doing that at all locations in the city. I think they're just changing out the system is all. And my piece of it's going to be 15.
Right, yeah. So the main fuel system is changing when we move to the new Public Works building. So that software is changing and the equipment's changing. So all the satellite facilities are going to have to update to that same system. So that's what Jim's having to do there.
So it's not some new environmental rule or something changing fuel. It's software and support equipment.
It's the tracking system, and then it's the badge pass so that people can swipe their badges and get fuel.
Okay. Wendy?
Jim, is the environmental services, is it still a self-supporting department, or not?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we are self-supporting. Nobody wants to give us any money. We always got to give money to everyone else. But no, we're good. And we looked at it, and as you know, we haven't had any rate increases ever. We've had the same price since 2001. And for the foreseeable future, I don't see a need for that just yet. Anything can change, depending on costs going up in different things. But no, we're still supporting it all through user fee.
And the solid waste management district, are they still, they're really receptive to grants every year that you propose from your?
They still put one out every year. It doesn't seem like they've lost a couple different people down there and replaced some different people. So I've got to get a different relationship down there with somebody to try to get it. They used to be really receptive of having you come out and talk about your grant proposal, and it just seems like now it's more just mail it in and we'll let you know. And it just was a lot nicer before. But this other location that we went through this time was a really supportive company. So, but we'll still work with the Waste Management District.
Thank you, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else got anything? George?
Just curious, since O'Fallon's gone to the single stream recycling, I know with those big trailers that you had at the certain collection points, a lot of times those things are just filled to the hilt with cardboard and paper. Are you seeing anything equivalent to that, or is that what you're seeing? Like you're seeing like 45% now, or is that something totally different?
It's kind of hard to say because obviously we couldn't track who was bringing that product to those drop-off sites. But certainly through the word of the residents as we talk to them on the phones and everything, they all appreciate the fact they don't have to get out and drive it up there anymore. But I think what we're missing is a lot of the stuff that went into those places that was full wasn't even coming from O'Fallon. All the surrounding communities would bring their product up. A lot of, like blind companies, like blinds for your windows, air conditioning companies, they would all bring all their cardboard up there. So, which it wasn't made for commercial, but you really couldn't do it. And as long as they did it right, it was okay. But the product really just wasn't worth that much. I mean, those big old containers, I know they were big, but when we hauled them, we got paid about $40. That's what you got for that product. Wow. So it looked good, looked impressive, but it just didn't really pay very well. And we'll take all those cans out and we've got them stored. And as a matter of fact, we just sold 3 of them. So we'll sell those off so we get a little more money back to pay for the program.
Thank you.
Sure.
Bill?
The day of the tour, I showed up about shortly before 1, and there was nobody around. I thought I was in the right place. Nobody ever showed up. I guess I should have gotten out and went inside. I left about 20 after 1 thinking I had the wrong day. So I apologize for not being there.
I don't even remember what time it was now, but
1:15 was the time of the tour.
where were you at?
The first building you come in, that newer building on the right,
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that even is over there.
where you go in where the trucks go in and recycling.
That's where you would have been, but that's on the left when you're coming in.
You might have been at the wrong place.
That was the wrong place.
You're probably over at Didion.
Yeah. How was your tour?
Yeah. Did you get some metal? I took some wheels there the other day. They did me solid. I was happy.
So anyway, I apologize.
Oh, sure.
Took his SUV, recycled it up. Okay. Anything else for Jim? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to the water and sewer 2026 budget. Marshall's coming up. Welcome back, Marshall. It's been a hot minute since we've seen you. It's fantastic to see you doing well.
Thank you. So we'll dive into this budget here when it comes up on the screen here. Everybody doing good, I assume. While we're waiting, everybody, it's good to see everybody. It's been a interesting summer for me, so I appreciate being able to come back. All right, we're going to start with the wastewater division budget first. And the last few years I've used this same PDF version, and there's a little difference on it this year that you're going to notice right off the bat for the operating expenditures. The way our record-keeping software, Munis, tracks encumbrances, POs from prior years that roll over, makes this operating expenditure look a little weird now. Showing that the proposed at 26 being about 47% less than the last year, 48%. And that's actually just because all those encumbrances roll in and makes that number inflated. That's really not the case. It's about 1.87 less than 25's proposed. Jumping down onto major projects, we got the public works portion, sewers portion of the public works building, the project closed out at about 15.6. We have the sludge dewatering improvements, which is, as you all have been through the plant, we have our biosolids facility that actually presses the solids in for removal and disposal. That facility is getting an upgrade. We'll be going to centrifuges, and that's at about 2.4 million. The sanitary sewer pipelining is an ongoing I&I reduction project. They line pipes every year for that project at 200,000. The North Lift Station replacement / rehabilitation, construction, and upgrades. We actually have engineering looking at that facility to try to give us just a direction on what we need to do with that lift station. It's aging out and needing some repairs, and we have that at 300,000. SCADA system improvements, just ongoing. You all have seen our SCADA system, or a majority of you have seen our operating systems. That system is continually just requiring upgrades, bringing newer equipment on, or repairs, or just ideal changes to that to make that system better at 25. We got that at 25,000. The RDP demo, again, of biosolids, another phase of that project would be removing some of the older equipment that is no longer in use. That's at 150,000. Collection system manhole rehab is just as it says, out in the system for I&I reduction. It'll be lining the manholes, removing some of the I&I, that infiltration for that. That's at 100,000. The Barrington Relief Sewer will be for stormwater mitigation that will give that sewer system over there that in large storms struggles to keep up. That'll give a relief route for that sewage to get away from that area. That'll be a new constructed sewer main, and that'll be $575,000. The wastewater treatment plant was tank improvements. That was the original plant. That facility is requiring some upgrades. That'll be sloping the floor and recoating. That'll be $200,000. SCADA cybersecurity is a big one from IT. They gave us this number. It'll be third-party consultants and software at $160,000. And then jumping down to capital equipment, the utility trailers replacement of 603, 612, and 616 at 45.5. Lightning protection for the lift stations. Yearly we've been having a program to just put mitigation equipment on the electrical systems for all the lift stations. It's at 20,000. Kind of like they already talked about the fuel system. That will be our portion of an upgraded fuel system for the plant. 25,000. Annual lift station pump replacements. It's just a replacement of the aging systems as a submersible or a pump system goes down. It'll be actually replacing the older fleet with a new pump. The 100,000. The in-town group's looking at a F-350 replacement for 615 at 60,005. SCADA system employee transportation, we're looking to get a Ford Maverick for his ability to get around the systems. He's kind of standalone, taking care of our SCADA systems. 36,000. And then the big one is the biosolids truck. You all have seen our semi tractor and trailer. It's kind of the jewel out there for us. Replacing the last of the roll-off trucks. This will be a second tractor, so we will always have a vehicle up and running if one's in for maintenance or is down. And that's at 200,000. Bringing the sewer capital to 4.6 million. It's a lot of numbers to throw at you, but is there any questions on the sewer?
Questions on sewer? Yeah, James?
I was going to ask, they're fairly small items, but you have about 3 or 4 items that I'd call are like ongoing maintenance, kind of equivalent to replacing concrete and roads. How's your budget doing for those? Are you falling behind, or you think you're staying up the sewer, the linings and the pumps replacements and that sort of thing?
I think we're doing pretty well. The pumps and that sort of thing, we're really just kind of kicking that program off, and that's been mainly to some larger repairs. This should definitely help that a lot. We have that in the CIP for the next at least 5 years. So that'll be an ongoing yearly replacement. Should keep us well within that range. As far as the lining, I would have to maybe lean on Steve a little bit, but I believe we're keeping up with that as well.
Yeah, and we've been doing that lining project for many, many years now, so we're in a good position with that project, and that number keeps us good. We're still lining some of the clay pipes, but they're mostly in good condition, the ones we're hitting right now. So.
Okay, any other questions? Scott?
Yeah, hi, Marshall. On the sludge dewatering improvements, what's the time frame on that project?
It's going to be at least all of next year, and it's probably closer to a 1.5 or 2 year project, wouldn't you believe? For the centrifuge project.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we should be getting rolling pretty quickly next year. We actually have engineering in the works this year for design, so we should be able to hit the ground running pretty quickly.
Okay, and so the 2.4 million, is that, how does that represent as far as the overall project cost? Is it, what percentage?
I'd have to get back to you with the actual percentage. That should do the screw press or the centrifuge project, but biosolids as a whole is broken up into kind of a multi-phase. That will not be the total by the time we're all said and done with the new loadout facility and some of the other changes, like the WAS tank. That's kind of lumped in there with the WAS tank, the loadout areas, the screw press projects. We're doing an odor control, so it's a part of a actually very large project. It just excuse me, kind of got broke out into multiple sections.
Okay, well, I guess it's safe to say then 2027, you probably have a similar expenditure or more,
I don't have the CIP in front of me. I think it should be considerably less than that.
Yeah. So we're actually getting to the tail end of the solids handling projects. So there is a little bit more left. Maybe one more project of this size. But, the headworks was counted towards this, and all the projects Marshall listed there. So we're kind of getting towards the tail end of all these, and I think there's just one more major project.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Anybody else? Chad?
You have listed the Ford Maverick. Do you guys have any say on what vehicle it is? I mean, you can get a similar sized truck that's made 10 minutes from here for about the same price.
Yeah, actually, most of that all really comes from the fleet department, and I suggested something small, so he kind of went with the Maverick. We were looking at something 4-door where it could be 4-wheel drive, but big enough that if we needed to go to classes, several of us can kind of jump in it, but not so big that he can't get around everywhere. I'm open to whatever vehicle, but the Maverick's just kind of where we fell. I haven't priced one personally. This come from Fleet's budget.
You can recommend to the councilman your suggestion if you would like. I know where you're coming from, and I don't disagree. Okay, other questions? All right, let's tackle water.
Okay. So on the operating expenditures, very, very, it's really the same topic with the rollovers of the POs and encumbrances. It shows it being 15.38% less. We're actually at about a 4.67 increase. Some of that's water purchases, just overall the cost of our system there. As the water plant, we got a very large project going on there too, so that should help some of the maintenance projects and that sort of thing too. So hopefully we can cap that from climbing too much in the future. Public Works bond project, the water portion of that facility is 14,980. The water treatment plant project, the lion's share of that funding was actually this year, so we got carryover funds of about $25,000 for next year. SCADA system improvements for the water side is at $10,000. Jumping down to capital equipment, they have an enclosed trailer replacing 598 at $15,850. They have a sweeper attachment replacement, $7,500. And then they have one of their dump trucks in town replacing 503 at $210,000. Brings the water capital at $283,330. And again, this it's kind of impressive to have all the projects narrowed way down on the water side, but we got this very, very large project going in the water plant, new ROs, and all that funding was in this year's. So we got 2 new ROs, a lot of the chemicals, pump skids, overall building maintenance, covers for our filters. There's a whole great big list of items that's being updated at the water plant ongoing as it stands. And then if you remember, we just had the new Alluvia well. It's at the punch list phase now, is operational. Running, we're getting about 0.7 MGD out of it. So, I mean, we've actually, the number of projects we've done in the last handful of years here is just, it's been impressive. So this is what we've come to. You know, we've narrowed this field down a lot. So
I'm going Jim Carl on you. How's that output compared to what the predicted was?
It's right there. It is, you know, obviously, at the water plant, we can handle a lot more, but, it's right there, and, it's good water. It's pretty easy to treat, and we're doing fairly well with it.
That's about what we were getting out of the others total, right?
I'm sorry.
Is that about what we were getting out of the other wells total?
Right now, so the further towards the river you get a little more yield out of them. They're closer to like a 1 MGD after cleanings.
Okay.
So well, 1 is about a half MGD, so we're right there in that range. So
Cool.
yeah, we're running right now. We're running about 85% on the VFDs, which, you know, slows it, you know, VFDs, but we're getting 0.7 out of it, and the water tables, it's not really dropping, it's not climbing. We're right there at the sweet spot at about 0.7.
Wendy, the takeaway is you can water your grass.
I'm sorry.
You can keep watering your grass if you want.
Well, I don't have water.
Okay.
And I never will.
Okay. Okay, other questions on the water part? All right.
Good.
Seeing none.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
Marshall.
Appreciate it very much.
Okay, we'll move on to the 2026 budget and budget for capital improvement projects.
Good evening. My name is Paul Telemanchuk. I'm Project Manager Supervisor in the Engineering Department, here to talk about the 2026 proposed capital improvement projects that we have in the budget next year. So I'll bring up a presentation here. So on this presentation is just kind of it's just projects that we have budgeted next year in the 2026 budget. It's not all inclusive of all of our projects, but it touches on everything that's in the budget for next year. And there's no numbers on the slides, but if you guys have specific questions as to the amounts on these projects, you know, how much we have budgeted, you know, I have those numbers if you need them. All right, so we'll start out with our design projects. We have some projects going into design next year. So first one here is Bryan Road Pavement and Path project. This was one we applied for federal funding for earlier this year. We were awarded federal funding. We were also recommended for county funding on this as well. So you know, the way those funding sources work when we go out and try and acquire these funds, we can go up to 80% match. So in a case like this, we can go 80% from federal and then 80% from county, which reduces our cost to about 4% of the total cost of the project. So it's a pretty significant help to these types of projects. So for instance, a $200,000 design would cost the city around $4,000 if we were to get those 80% matches. So with this project, it's from White Magnolia Drive to Norwood Hills Drive along Bryan Road. So currently there's a 6-foot asphalt path there, and we're going to be removing that and replacing it with a 10-foot shared use path, concrete. Similar to other areas of Bryan Road that already have this type of path. So we're going to be upgrading that asphalt path to the 10-foot shared use path. In addition to that, we will be replacing any deficient street pavement slabs within that section. So this project's going to address some of the pavement condition as well as the pedestrian route along that stretch. So we have design beginning next year with land acquisitions occurring in 27 and 28. Land acquisitions and environmental clearances, that'll happen kind of those 2 years, and then construction in 2029. The next design project we have in the budget for next year is Mexico Road resurfacing and path. So this is along Mexico Road from Barrington Drive to Bellow Creek Road. So it kind of goes up towards Fort Zumwalt South High School. We have an asphalt mill and overlay along with the construction of a 10-foot shared use path along that south side of Mexico Road, where there's currently, again, asphalt kind of 6-foot trail going through there. And I will note there are a couple developments I think we have in this area that are going to help with the installation of that 10-foot path. So that's always great. And then we'll also have a 5-foot sidewalk on the north side of that roadway as well. So, you know, kind of this picture up on the top right there, you can see on the left side, that was a previous phase of Mexico Road. You know, we have the nicer pavement, the 10-foot shared use path, and then kind of on the right side there, you can see that pavement's kind of deteriorating. So we're going to go ahead and mill and fill that with a fresh surface course, wearing course, and then we'll extend that path all the way down to the high school, basically. So design's beginning next year. Land acquisition and environmental is 27 and 28. Construction is planned for 2029. So that was all for the design projects in 26 that are going to be starting. And now we'll move into the land acquisition project. So in the 26 budget, we have the West Terran Lane realignment and land acquisition is starting next year. So this is at the Bryan Road intersection with West Terran Lane. This is a very large project. We received a significant amount of federal funding to assist us with this project, along with county funding. It does shift that intersection kind of away from Highway 70, Interstate 70. So the scope of work is realigning that intersection, putting in a roundabout with bypass lanes, which will help that traffic, you know, flowing through there up towards St. Dominic, as well as the industrial traffic coming from the west towards that intersection. We'll also have a shared use path kind of through that area. In the timeline for this, we had design kind of started in 24 into 25, worked through some environmental clearances, and then next year we'll start our land acquisition on this project. Construction is currently planned for 2028. The next project we have budgeted for construction next year is Tom Ginevra and North Cool Springs Roundabout. So this one is converting that current 3-way stop into a roundabout with a shared use path along the south side, and we have kind of the 5-foot walk going all the way along the north side. And there's a development, I believe, planned on that northwest corner, which will continue that sidewalk down further. So currently in land acquisition and utility relocations right now. Next year we do have the construction planned, and we're looking to kick this off sometime after Heritage and Freedom Fest, as that's a popular detour route for HFF. So this is planned to start construction after that, so probably a late summer construction start. The next one we have in the budget for construction is our Eggering Drive reconstruction. This one is a full roadway reconstruction, basically from the railroad tracks here by City Hall up to Shepherd Drive near Westoff Park. Includes some storm sewer improvements, and then also this provides a sidewalk all the way from Westoff Park down Eggering to our senior center and also City Hall. So it'll provide sidewalks through that whole section, which aren't there right now. So good connectivity there for pedestrians, as well as a much needed improvement to that roadway. It's in pretty rough shape right now. So we've got that planned in 26. Hoff Road, Phase 2 is also budgeted for construction next year. Timeline of this, probably bidding late next year and getting the contract awarded, but construction will likely occur closer to 2027. So we might not see like a lot of movement out there next year, but we will plan to get this bid and awarded next year. The limits of this are on Hoff Road from Progress West Lane to the city limits. This involves a full roadway reconstruction. It's currently a 2-lane roadway, sees a lot of industrial traffic through there. It's kind of a narrow 2 lanes, so we're putting, adding a 3rd lane, so we'll have a 3-lane section through there. And then we'll also be softening the curb up by Kemar Court. If you're familiar with that side of town, there's kind of a tight turn there now, so we want to bring that up to current design standards for that sweeping radius of the road. We're also including a sidewalk for a lot of those industrial businesses along there, for any workers that want to, get out, stretch their legs and walk up and down the sidewalk. This one, like I said, bidding late next year. Construction is likely going to be 27. Next one here is the Darting Greenway Sports Park to Bluebird Meadow Park. I have this in the budget for construction next year as well. This is from the Bluebird Meadow Park Trail in Darting Prairie. It'll connect onto that and provide a trail going through Sports Park all the way over to Highway K. It'll actually go under Highway K. So that picture on the bottom right, it's kind of hard to see, but that trail will go under Highway K and then have a loop for future connectivity. Right now along Highway K, there's also bike lanes, so you'll see those 2 legs kind of come up. That's for the bikes to come off of that bike lane and kind of go down that grade there, meet up with the trail, and then get into Sports Park. There's a couple pedestrian bridges needed for this project. That's kind of what that top picture is showing. On the bottom left of that top picture, that's where it's tying into the Darting Prairie Bluebird Meadow Park Trail. And then we have to cross the creek, kind of traverse along that creek, and then cross it again to get towards Sports Park. And then it'll continue along Sports Park. The Deer Road reconstruction phase 1. This is another one of those that we're going to try and have bid out and awarded late next year, but construction is likely going to occur closer to early 2027 when there's actually work going on out there. So this is a full reconstruction from Lynette Lane to Gatehouse Circle or Longgate Court. It includes a shared use path along there, high visibility crosswalks, and a roundabout at Paul Renaud Boulevard to provide traffic calming and safety along that route. This Deer Road reconstruction was split into 2 phases. This is kind of the midpoint, but the construction is budgeted in 26. And then the last slide here, just want to touch on our annual maintenance programs. So we're in year 3 of the pavement strategy. Next year will be year 3. So these are the wards for 2026. So Ward 1 will see the partial depth repair, contracted street repairs. Ward 2 is the concrete removal and replacement. Ward 3, the path maintenance. Ward 4, partial depth repair from our public works crews. And then Ward 5 will be the crack seal. Asphalt maintenance, we did some microsurfacing this year. We thought it turned out very well, so I think we are planning to go ahead and do more of that to preserve some of those asphalt roadways. And then we also have some mill and overlays planned as well. Also included some bridge maintenance. We have bridge maintenance funds budgeted next year to take care of our bridges, make sure those are repaired and will stand up to future years. So that's all I have as far as the presentation, but happy to answer any questions you have related to any of these projects or its programs.
Wendy.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your name, sir.
Paul Telemanchuk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul, I got a couple questions actually. What is the need for a roundabout at Tom Ginevra North Cool Springs Road?
So we studied that intersection. It'll improve the level of surface service for that intersection quite significantly for the backups that are seen during the peak hours, so morning, evening, school release. So it'll improve the traffic flow through that intersection. It also improves the emissions there. So we applied for federal funding through what's called congestion mitigation and air quality. So we were able to get federal funds and county funds to help us with this project. And essentially what those roundabouts do is they prevent those stopping and starting actions. So not only is it improving the traffic flow through there, but we're preventing the stopping and the going of the vehicles, which increases the emissions. So it'll cut down on emissions and also improve traffic flow. And then there's also various safety factors to roundabouts. I know not everyone likes roundabouts, but the statistics will show you that the safety enhancements are there with the collision angles, less severe collision angles. You don't have any 90s. The way the approach to the roundabout is, it'll slow the vehicles down so they're not coming in full speed even if they do get in an accident. With pedestrians, you're only looking one direction for traffic, whereas like at a signal, if you push the button, it might give you a walk sign, but you're still looking for yielding traffic or traffic that's making a left or turning right down the street. So with a roundabout, you're only looking one direction for traffic. And with these types of roundabouts, we do have a flashing beacon in there because of the size of the roundabout. So we'll have a flashing beacon that flashes when someone is going to be using that crosswalk to let the vehicles know. So I'm sure I didn't hit on all the items for the roundabout, but a lot of those things are taken into account when we look at these projects. So we did have that studied to make sure it was a valid use of a roundabout there.
So another question I have, the roundabout, the project that's for the Bryan Road, West Terra Lane area, the roundabout there, is that going to be a bigger roundabout due to the fact with trucks and everything, major trucks industry going down, West Terra Lane?
Yep, so that one, I'm going to shoot back to that slide. That one's kind of an interesting one. It's kind of a combination of things. So it depends on how much traffic's coming from each leg. So in this case, we're able to put bypass lanes in. So any traffic heading northbound, Bryan, they don't even have to enter the roundabout. You can kind of see there's kind of a green wedge there on the right. So below that is that's a lane of traffic. So they can bypass that roundabout and then merge back into the lane. So if you're going north on Bryan and you want to go to St. Dominic, you don't even have to get in the roundabout. You can bypass it with that lane. Same with the industrial traffic. If they're coming from Hoff Road and they're coming down, and they want to go south on Bryan, they can take a bypass lane and start going south on Bryan. So the inner circle there starts out, and it's kind of hard to see for you guys, but kind of you approach Bryan from, if you're going northbound into the roundabout, there's one lane in the roundabout at that point. And then once West Terra comes in from the east, heading west, picks up into two lanes that go around and down southbound Bryan. So it's kind of a hybrid. It's not full two lane all the way around. And it's based on the amount of traffic coming from each direction.
Well, and another thing I wanted to ask, I noticed the project at North Cool Springs and Tom Ginnever is being started earlier than this project here on Terra Lane. I mean, to me, this project on West Terra Lane and Bryan Road should have been done years ago. It's a major problem in that area. I was just curious as to why the project on North Cool Springs Road comes before this one.
Sure, that's a good question, and part of it has to do with when we got the funding for the projects. So we apply for these funding and when we can afford them. So we put this in the 5-year CIP. This project, I believe, altogether is around $12 million for this project. A lot of that has to do with the right-of-way acquisition that's needed. Because of how close the intersection currently is to I-70, it creates a lot of issues because there's 2 intersections real close when you exit 70, and then West Terre is like right there, less than 500 feet. So you have a lot of backups that extend through the lights, and it causes a lot of issue for traffic. So really, this intersection needs to be pushed away. So you can see it's pushed away there, and there's a lot of homes, businesses. So there's a lot of land, and we're buying people out, relocating businesses. So that's a pretty significant cost. We don't do a lot of projects like this. So that's another reason for kind of the extended timeline, because we have to have that time to relocate these owners, these people that are living there, the businesses. We have to work with them, acquire these parcels of land, and make sure we get all that taken care of before we do the project. So that's kind of where we're going next year into the project. And again, it kind of also has to do with the funding and when we were awarded the funding.
Okay. Other questions? Bill?
I'd like to expound on the West Terra Ryan Road. It originally was set up to start construction in 2026, and now it's been moved up to 2028. Is that because of the land acquisition, basically? But that intersection is a nightmare.
So we have...
It's terrible.
Yeah, it is. We studied that intersection. We've looked at it. So it was... We were always kind of... so we applied for funding in 2024. I believe it was 2024 is when we applied for funding.
Been in the works for 3 years.
Yes, so we did kind of initial study and conceptual analysis. So, and that's when we had a public meeting. We had that, I believe it was in 2024, where we looked at it. We weren't sure what configuration worked best there. So we had, I think, 3 different options we brought to a public meeting, got public input on, and then ultimately selected this configuration. So you might be remembering that public meeting and when this came about. And at that time, we were needing to apply for funding. And the way the funding lined out, we had to have this 2-year land acquisition timeline. So while, yes, we have been looking at this a while, it's a very expensive project, and we need those outside funds to do it. So that's kind of why it's pushed a little bit further from when we had that initial public meeting, because that's kind of when the funds are available for us to do this.
Do you have any idea how much land acquisition is left to obtain?
Well, we're starting next year. So we haven't started the land acquisition yet. So this past year, we've been doing preliminary design and then also environmental clearances. So we had to have a site assessment done, and then we had to work with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Missouri Department of Natural Resources, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So we had to get clearances from them, make sure this project wasn't going to, cause any issues with those regulatory agencies. We've cleared all of those, so now we can move into starting to buy the right-of-way and purchase the right-of-way for the project.
Okay, thank you.
Quick follow-up here. I'm assuming that we are buying out a big chunk of those concrete spaces between that circle and the exit and off-ramps of 70. Those businesses are going to be gone?
On the north, so if you're looking on like the north side of Terra?
i.e. the car store that's in the middle of the wedges and your fly ramps, and then the whatever the store where you get your stuff that you inhale.
Oh, no, we will not be buying out anything from, so Travers is over there also.
Okay, so how do you
I think
get
Arab
to those
is.
stores?
What's that?
How do you get to those stores?
So this plan doesn't have, this was kind of an early, this was a public meeting exhibit, but it will kind of loop around.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Can we just put this as a future topic to discuss this project? Because obviously there's a high level of interest of some folks up here. I think this is one that would be good to have a little better detailed
Sure.
understanding on.
Yeah, and it would, so if you're up by kind of Bryan, it would cut off along that north section and then ties back in kind of where it ties in on the sides. Those roads would stay and there'd be cul-de-sacs kind of on the end. So it'd almost be, there'd be entrances off of Terra to get to those existing roads.
Okay.
So how far north do you have to push for that cul-de-sac? So the way it looks, there's a bunch of stone barricades on the north side of West Terra, and that roadway goes into some homes back there. It looks like that shoves back quite a distance.
It does, and it goes, there's actually a creek back there. There's quite a bit of fill. It's kind of a low area, so there's a lot of grading involved with that project as well. So I would say roughly looking at it, I mean, we're probably 700 feet to the north away from there. But that's just, I don't know for sure. I'd have to look at that.
Okay. Other questions? Greg, do you have one?
On the last slide, for Ward 2, it's the concrete R&R. Is that the slab replacement?
That's a slab replacement program, yeah.
So I know we've learned about all of that in the past, but in Avondale, from coming in from Knaust Road to the first stop sign, that entire, I wouldn't want to be a pregnant woman in month 8 or 9. You'll go into labor driving down that road. Is there, it's beyond individual slab replacement in there from coming in at that entrance. Is that more of a big capital project to redo that entire stretch, or would it be looked at as individual slab replacements, and then 4 years from now when we're due for slab replacements in Ward 2 again, another section and then another section?
So if it's it'll be part of the slab replacement program. I mean, if it's that bad, I'm sure they're going to take probably that whole
drive.
take that whole stretch. In our project managers do. The project manager working on the concrete program, he goes out, looks at the PCI, and then he actually goes out and drives these subdivisions. So he drives them, and then to select these streets and slabs. And I know there's been a lot of discussion, and I believe we're trying to get a lot of funding going towards the concrete slab removal and replacements. So
The last time it was in Ward 2, the other end of Avondale got it. I mean, it was obvious. I mean, they were crumbling, and yeah, it was horrible up at the other end, and they did a great job with the replacement at that end. Unfortunately, that is the newer end, so it's surprising that that concrete failed the way that it did versus the other end where it's just, God, it's roller coasters are smoother.
Yeah, and we deal with we have these subdivisions that were poured with concrete that has this reactive rock, the ACR.
Yeah, it's the old,
yeah,
built 25 plus years ago when the codes weren't what they are now.
Yeah, in the those slabs can deteriorate very fast. They could look good for years and then they just go quick. So we're trying to keep up with that.
So follow-up question. I'm in Ward 1. We've had that going on, and there would be 8, 9 in a row in some places, and some places there'd just be a few. I mean, they worked it in sections. So I'm assuming that we've been well out of the Homefield subdivision since probably like the end of June, and we've made our way to the south. Nobody's coming back to Homefield. Is that a correct assessment with this Ward 1 replacements?
So the Ward 1 partial depth repair, so if you had the slab program in there, there may have been some things left that were more of a joint repair style
Okay, so having been through the ACR special committee and everything, I got 4 slabs that didn't get touched that are absolutely destroyed, and it dumbfounded me that they didn't get fixed. So we were a block away, and we didn't do them, and fixed stuff that wasn't nearly as bad as these 4. So I'm just trying to get, do I just need to put a ticket in at this point in time? Is that the proper course, and kick it to the streets group and come do a local? Because it's had multiple residents come to me and say, why didn't this one get done?
Is it, so it depends if it is ACR and ASR, the PDR is not going to help it.
This isn't part, this is a complete slab replacement. We were in the whole neighborhood. We did all kinds of stuff a block away. Didn't touch the worst 4 slabs that are all together in the whole neighborhood on a interior supplemental arterial road. Grand Slam Court, Homefield Commons Drive. It's been bad for years. So it's just disappointing as a Ward 1 resident to know that we were in Ward 1 doing repairs, saw them happening all around. We throw asphalt in it every year. And I just assumed, hey, it'll get marked, and it never got marked, never got changed. So it's just I don't know who's looking at what.
What road was that?
Homefield, Grand Slam Court, Homefield Commons Drive.
Grand Slam Court.
Grand Slam Drive, Homefield Commons Drive.
Okay. We'll look at that.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Lose a tire. Bad. Anyway, no, and to your point, we need more funding. Absolutely. We're never going to have this good conversation with the current levels of funding. So that's where it's at. Wendy.
Well, I would just like to commend the Streets Department for doing such a great job at the intersection of Woodlawn and Veterans Memorial Parkway. They did a great job out there.
Yeah, and that was a joint effort between, so we had a contractor working and then also the Streets Department. Also, it was a joint effort between the two, and I think it worked out really well. I think Steve's crews were out there and did a great job, so.
Check. Scott.
Yeah, hi, Paul. First, I'd like to commend the city on all the, it looks like all these projects have shared use paths or sidewalks and even pedestrian bridges incorporated. So I commend the city for that. Are these shared use, is it 10 feet? Is that a standard? Is that the standard we're going to adopt on the shared use?
So I believe, I'm not the path expert, but I believe the 10-foot is kind of our standard shared use path. I know there has been discussions with the county, and the county has been asking for even wider 14-foot paths. At this time, I believe we're a 10-foot is what we typically request and what we design in our projects. So whenever developments come in, we do 10-foot shared use path, and then our projects also look at the 10-foot shared use paths.
Okay, and then could you go back to the slide about the pedestrian bridge or bridges? Are those over creeks or is that over Highway K?
Those are creeks. Just kind of north of that first bridge is, I believe that's the Links at Dardine right there. So if you ever play that golf course, I think it's on the back 9. There's a creek running along one of the holes. There's woods and then a creek back there. That's the creek. So it is a creek.
Okay, and then my last question would be regarding land acquisition, with the exception of the project we were talking about at Bryan Road. Do you anticipate any issues with land acquisition? For instance, on Bryan Road, what does that entail? Is that just because you're widening from 5 feet to 10 feet?
Yeah, so a lot of what we have developed already was built within our right-of-way. So when we go to do these projects and we widen anything, we're most likely going to be pushing the limits of where our right-of-way is. So we're either having to acquire some additional right-of-way or at a very minimum get some temporary construction easements for that to be able to have equipment sit there and then dig out the path and then regrade it. We need those land rights in order to do the project, and that goes along with the land acquisition. So some are more major than others. Some are pretty minor with the temporary easements, but they all vary. Some are difficult, some are easier, and it depends on if the parcel is accepting of the project, or if they don't want the project. So.
But do you anticipate any issues with landowners for these projects besides, like I said, the Hoff Road, that's a bigger issue, but.
I would say, on all the projects, the right-of-way, we typically have one or two that, maybe we can't get a hold of. They're hard to get a hold of, but I don't anticipate any issues with acquiring the land. We typically are able to come to an agreement with these owners.
Thanks.
Questions on this side? I haven't even looked over here yet. Mary?
Thanks, Paul. I'm not really sure if I heard you correct when you were talking about Bryan Road, Phase 2, and you talked about funding for that, and 80% federal and 80% state and 20% city. Wouldn't that be over 100%?
No, so when I was talking about it, and that's the Bryan Road example I was giving, is so we have federal funds that would kick in first. So of the 200,000, 80% would go to federal, 20% would be the cities. And of that 20%, we get another 80% taken off of the 20% from our county funding. So St. Charles County. So at a $200,000 design, federal would pay about 160. St. Charles County Road Board would pay about 30, and then 32, and we would be at 8. Does that make sense? So we're splitting. We keep subdividing the percentages. So the full amount is split with the federal. 80% of that is federal, 20% city and county, call it.
So the state's not involved in that?
No, we don't have state funds from that. We do occasionally have projects that have what's called, they call them cost share funds that the state provides. Typically we get those on any projects where we're building them on state right-of-way.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have one more.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna let Chad talk.
Oh, I didn't see him.
I'm not looking your way. Chad.
So, going back to the Bryan Road one, where's it gonna, it looked like there was a road coming out like the backside of the roundabout. Where's that gonna connect into?
So on the north Gentleman there, connect straight into the roundabout.
That's an existing road that goes back to a bunch of homes that are not in the city, I don't believe. They're all county properties that are back in there spread out, I
I
believe.
think there's
I forget the name of it.
Yeah, there's a road that goes back there.
Yeah, Gentleman Manor is back there. I believe that is in the city.
Yeah.
The homeowners here that are being impacted directly by this roundabout are in the county.
Yeah, you actually cross the tracks, and then there's a bunch of homes that's the
Hill and-
1X, yeah.
Hickory Hill in that area. Okay. So, but you said we're gonna discuss this again at some point?
I'm gonna offer it up as let's take a little bit of a dive on this project,
Okay.
just to understand it a little better, because it's just, I think if we had a full slide deck, we'd probably be okay, and 5 minutes later, we're moving on, and questions answered. It's just, that picture just doesn't make sense to me, so.
Sure.
Okay. All right, are we done over here? Anybody that's not Bill on this side? Bill.
The other intersection that concerns me is Feisey and Bryan Road. That intersection is already a real problem. Is there anything in the near future to try to eliminate the traffic problem there? And I know that Dardine Prairie is on one side, and of course O'Fallon's on the other.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure where that landed. There was the development that came in. We were coordinating for a future project with Darting Prairie to try and address that. I know the development put in a turn lane maybe, but I think there's still future improvements that are needed there, and we're aware of that. But at this point, I don't think we don't have it planned, I guess, and it's going to be a joint effort with Darting Prairie. So we'll need an intergovernmental agreement, and I'm not aware of it. Wade might know of something there, but I don't know.
Well, what's concerning, there's a Circle K going to open up there, which isn't open yet, and those apartments aren't even done yet. And we've already got a traffic problem there, so that's why I'm bringing that up.
Yeah, so that intersection as well as the VMP and Bryan Road intersection are both intersections we're aware of that are in need of improvements. We are going to apply for some federal funding this next application cycle, which is in February, to apply for funding for VMP and Bryan. So up on the north side there, the other side of 70. So that.
Just got to get people to not drive down Bryan. Okay, any other questions for Paul? All right, thanks. I think my only recommendation is in the future, throw the numbers on for these projects so we just kind of high level, federal funded, state funded, the little piece that's the city. So it makes it a little easier to digest.
We can get that together. So.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to acceptance of the monthly reports for Public Works and Engineering for August. Can I get a motion for approval? Can I get a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, future agenda topic meetings. I think the first thing we need to do we need to change the date for the December, November combined? We have the conflict with the lighting ceremony. Do you have a proposed date?
I had that on Steve to talk about.
Oh, well,
But
I want to steal all Steve's thunder.
we have optional dates for the combined one, which are November 19th, December 3rd, or December 10th. If any of those work for you guys.
Anybody have any opinions? I don't like the November 19th one for me personally, but that's just me.
December 3rd looks good to me. So
Does December 3rd look okay?
it's kind of in the middle.
That's the Wednesday after Thanksgiving. Is that fine? All right, we're going December 3rd. Okay, and then we had an update from Jim on here. I think we kind of got that tonight, so I think we can probably drop that guy off. Unless, if you want to come back December 3rd, you're going to be in, so Jim's out. All right, Jim's going to Vegas. Yeah,
We should
well,
all go to Vegas with him.
yeah, you got room in your on that private charter to get out there? Okay, so we have Public Works facility updates. Yeah, I would like to for sure get an update of where we are on the building heading into winter type deal. What else does anybody want to see? Chad?
Can we possibly get a update on the new police facility as well at some point?
Okay. We're probably okay with the water sewer. If Sean wants to come up, that's probably okay to have a quick update on those.
That's not till January.
We were going to do him in January.
Anywhere, okay, that's fine, that's fine.
We're kind of alternating between his updates and the Public Works projects updates.
All right, well, I mean, if we could get the Bryan Road thing maybe on here, I think that would help answer some questions. My only knock on the Bryan Road one was I don't know that I was tracking that project at all. Everything else that hit that board tonight, I think I was aware of, and that one I was a little, I didn't realize we were where we are. So maybe I missed that meeting, but anyway, that was. Okay, any other topics? All right, Vicky will do a good job of getting this completely loaded up. Okay. Unless anybody else has anything, we're gonna move on to closing comments. I'm gonna start down with James.
Thanks for the presentation and the project updates too.
Chad?
Again, thank you for all your presentations.
George?
Yeah, Jim and Sean and Paul, wonderful presentations. Good to see what's going on within the city.
Mary?
I'd like to welcome Vicki back. And also, I want to thank the Jeff and the staff that does the audio and the IT for us every month, and give them a thank you for doing that for us.
Thanks. Wendy?
I'd like to thank Jim and Marshall and Paul for the wonderful presentations tonight. I truly appreciate that. Thank you.
Pam?
Ditto on the great presentations. I did really appreciate going through the recycling facility in St. Peter's, so I'm glad that that got set up, and it was awesome to see.
Scott?
Yes, sorry I missed the tour. I wish I could have gone to that. Also, thank you for the insight on the roundabout. That's very interesting information. Other than that, I think I might round up some citizens. We never have citizen comments. Bring that up.
Just be really careful with that. I'll leave the be careful with. Yeah. Greg?
Thank you, and good stuff as always. Thanks, guys.
Bill.
Jim, Marshall, Paul, thanks for all the information. Your information is detrimental to the committee's work. Thank you.
Yeah, echo Bill's comments to you three. That was good presentations tonight. Worked through them pretty quickly. The numbers make sense. Jim, thanks for the add-in of the updates of everything going on with your group regarding the tonnages and everything. Those are great numbers. Okay, with that, we'll go to Councilman Wexler.
Nothing really. Just thank you guys for all your hard work on this stuff. I guess tomorrow night we do have a budget meeting, so if you guys want to tune in for like a 5-hour budget meeting, it'll be streamed on OFallonTV. So that's all I got. Thank you.
All right. Marshall, Jim, you're here tonight. You got anything else? Any words of wisdom?
I do not.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, nothing.
Paul, anything else from you?
Nothing from me, thanks.
All right. Now I'm going to move on to the thing that's printed on the paper. It says the Public Works Director comments. Steve?
Thank you. So out at the water treatment plant, the contractor has started on the big improvement project with the replacing the ROs and all that. So when Sean gives his update in January, he might have some more information on that and some pictures to show where that work. Out of the sewer plant, the Headworks project is nearing completion. I think it's about 2 more weeks before they start up the new screens for that project. So that's a big milestone there. So again, when he does his presentation in January, I'll get some good pictures of that. And then out at the Public Works project, we had a really busy September. We spent $2.6 million in 1 month, in the month of September out there. All the concrete floor slabs in both buildings are done, and all the steel frame on the Public Works building is done, and they are about 2 weeks into startup on the steel frame for the Fleet building. So a lot of progress going on out there, so I'll get some good pictures of what's going on out there for the next meeting. And that's all I got.
All right. Good deal. All right. With that, unless anybody else wants to just keep hanging out with our orange shirts on that I forgot the memo on tonight. Me and Greg, we missed it.
I move we adjourn.
All right. Can I get a second? Anybody opposed? Oh, all those in favor? Anybody opposed? All right. Thank you, everyone.